It's my cell phone. All right, roll call.
Mr. Culver?
Here.
Mr. Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Weatherholtz?
Okay. Now it's time for the introduction of its city staff.
Leonard Archie, building official, City Daytona Beach.
Mark Boyce, deputy code official, City Daytona Beach.
Kim Flaherty, project manager, City Daytona Beach.
John Cecil, demolition rehabilitation. And Robert Shagger, city attorney.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
All right, we need an approval of the minutes of February 16.
So move.
Second? Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Carries.
For the record, Charles Sino, court attorney. For the record.
The record. Okay, we have new cases. Case A, BP 2019-0089, 112 South Martin Luther King Boulevard, appeal of notice of condemnation and demolition order.
All right. First, I'd like to have Ms. Flaherty come up and explain the service. There's a bit of an unusual situation here that we're dealing with an estate. And so I want to make sure that we have on the record good service to the estate. There is no one here apparently with regard to this parcel. So, Kim, if you wouldn't mind going through the services provided on this with regard to the order and the notice.
Okay, the notice of condemnation and demolition order was provided to the personal representative of the state, which is the son. He only uses the mailing address of the property, that's the last known address, and the one he's kept of record. So notice has been provided by first-class mail, by certified mail. It's been posted at the property. It's been posted at City Hall, as well as he did at one point provide an email address. We have sent things to that email address. He has not been responding recently. So notice was done there. There's also a lawsuit with the property. So an attorney has given a notice on that for the plaintiff in that lawsuit. We've notified them as well by first-class mail, certified mail, and email to the attorney of record.
Kim, what is Mr. Clowers?
He represents the plaintiff. From what I can tell from the lawsuit, the plaintiff is suing on a supposed contract that was signed by the deceased prior to.
Okay, so he doesn't represent the estate.
No, he represents the plaintiff over a real estate contract.
There's a claim against the estate. Okay.
Yes, for this property.
Okay.
And they are the ones that filed the appeal.
Okay. So Mr. Clower's client filed the appeal.
Correct.
There's a claim against the estate, and okay.
Correct. And that case is not scheduled. I have checked the docket. It's scheduled to go to the court January of 2022. But that attorney has also stopped responding to emails. Is that scheduled in front of Judge
Hudson then in probate?
No, I don't think it's not a probate. It's on the contract.
Okay. Thank you.
Your International Property Maintenance Code provides that there's appropriate service when it's made by certified mail or hand delivered. Of course, there was no hand delivery in this case, but there was certified mail. And if the certified mail is returned by posting at a conspicuous place on the property, which is what Ms. Flaherty's just testified to. So in my opinion, at least, we have good.
You have good service. No, that's my opinion. You got good service.
So. The second issue which Kim brought up was the fact that the appeal is not actually by the property owner in this case, it's by the plaintiff's attorney in a sort of ancillary suit. And they are not actually asking for you to overturn or deny the appeal. They're actually asking that you preserve one of the buildings on site. The code inspectors have looked at this, the building officials looked at this, Mr. Urquhart, and they're in agreement with that. So as we move forward, we'll explain that more. But I wanted to notify you of that up front.
You have no problem with the standing issue, do you?
The IMPC, again, allows for more broad standing than in a typical appeal. Right. Essentially, anyone who's affected by the order has a right to appeal. So arguably, they have standing. And as I said, as the city is essentially in agreement with their request. And so there's not a real issue here.
Right, okay.
All right, with that in mind, we would ask Mr. Cecil to come up.
John Cecil, Demolition Rehabilitation Inspector.
Mr. Cecil, how are you familiar with this property?
I've been going to this property since 2019 when I first posted a property.
And have you been out to the site recently?
I was out there this morning.
And have you got some photos from?
I
this
do.
morning?
I didn't get any photos this morning, but they have been as of the last couple of weeks, I believe so.
Okay, so the photos you have to present today are from the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
Has the condition of the property changed at all from when you were there a couple of weeks ago until today?
There has been, there's just some, I'm going to say, natty bad beer cans laying around, stuff like that, that they have been coming in the back because it is unsecured in the back. So there is people going in and out of that.
Has there been any work to improve the property?
Oh, absolutely not.
Did you observe anyone on site when you were out there today?
Today, no.
All right, but you did see evidence of vagrants or others around?
That's correct.
All right, good. You have some photos in?
I do.
A couple weeks ago?
I think we're going to go back. This is from 2019, from the original posting. This is the building, the front of the building. That's on Martin Luther King. Show you some damage. This is to the front building. This is the one that they're wanting to keep.
Has there been work from 2019 to this year?
No, there has not. Nothing.
So the condition we're showing in 2019 is essentially the same as what you've observed more recently?
Absolutely. I'm guessing the owner's son, he was actually staying there at that property, and I thought it was a vagrant. I had called PD at that location, and they told him that he couldn't be staying at that property because it is a commercial property. There's no living facilities at that property.
You know the name of the son? Which son was it?
Dustin Allen. Dustin Allen.
Is that based on your own memory of your introduction, or is that based on some records?
That's based on the record. Yes, I don't remember his name because the PD actually.
So that's reflected in the report?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Please continue.
This is be the north side of the building. This is the view from the sidewalk. That is the part from where the awning is there on the left-hand side to the rear. What you see, that's what we're looking at of being taken down. That's another shot of the postings. This is all still 2019 photos. This is some damage that's on the front building. And you see there's water. Water damage. This is still the front building. This is over. That was over actually the office there by the doors. It's to the left of it. This is the part that we're looking at taken down from this point back. That's what it resembles. Still resembles is all the trash, litter, and debris. As you can see, the roof. That's 2019. There's the panels. They just kind of put them up so people wouldn't go in, but it's still unsecured there to the right-hand side there. You can still walk back through. There's a posting. Just showing other photos of the building. This is behind the fence on the south side. This is from Jesse Street. Jesse Street would be the west side of the building. So if you're looking from Jesse Street back to the back, that's the back of the building. That's everything that we're looking to take down also. And you can see the roof panels where they've blown, some of them's blown off and they're hanging down. And now we're jumping to the most recent photos. As you can see, the photos the condemnation notices have faded, so they are still in place from the original posting date 2 years later. This is another shot from the street. What happened to that one? And then there's another photo.
Let's hold up right here. If you
Okay.
back up. So those large panels, can you tell us what those are?
Those large panels are roofing panels, which they have blowed off, so they just actually stood them back up. And the building's still unsecured. You can still walk right through. This morning, even on the right-hand side, I could walk back through there on the right-hand side. And there's graffiti and stuff that's been painted in there. That's the part of the building that they do want to keep, which, as you can tell, there's going to be water damage and everything on the inside of that building.
Is that building secured, the main building?
The main door out front and the side door is locked. I have not been in the back to see if that back door is not unlocked or anything.
Right.
But when PD was out there, it's been a couple months now, they said everything was locked, but I haven't been trespassing on the property.
Very good.
It just shows some water damage and the mold and mildew on the inside.
Now,
This-
again, yeah, we're up to date now. Can
Yes.
you, describe in more particularly, what the structural issues are with what we're seeing?
Yeah, as you can see, the roof is still coming down on in the middle there, all the panels, the metal pieces.
This would be a life safety issue for anyone entering that area, I presume?
That's correct. Even blown, and because on the backside, you're going into Bethune-Cookman. So actually, the college is right there. So if we do have a storm and, there's kids that are walking up and down Jesse Street, going to class, then could be a possibility. It just shows all the junk, litter, and debris, all the beams. That's what we're looking to take down also.
And why would you take down the beams? Is there a structural component?
Yeah, because of the exposure to the weather and the rust, and there's a few on there that I'm not sure if they're on there, but they've actually separated from the building a little bit. That's showing that it was open, that you could just walk right through there. And this is this south side of the building. If you'd be looking through the gate, this is where there was a bunch of homeless. The PD had to run out. That gate, they had cut the lock on the gate, and they were staying right here. And this, and then in that back building. This is an aerial shot. As you can see, all the loose panels on top, the holes, the tin roof, is all caving in. There's another shot. As you can see, they have blown off. And it looks like they've used those big panels to try to cover up the holes on the metal panels at one time.
That was done well before your involvement, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Another aerial shot. And that's the back of the building towards Jesse Street. As you can see, the roof is just all pieced there, so there's a lot of loose. And then anytime there's any wind, you can hear the panels just banging as you're there. This is an overall photo. The big building here to your left, that would be the front office or the showroom area. Then the little connection piece that has a dark collar there in the middle, that would have been where the offices were. And then from the black roof, from that point back is what we'd be looking to remove.
Would you be removing the building with the black roof as well?
No, that's part of that's a concrete garage. Okay. So the metal actually ties into that. So that's where we'd be looking to take off.
So everything with the aluminum roofing that we see is what we're seeking to demolish.
That's correct. That's correct. This just shows standing water that was on that office building. That's another aerial shot. And the two blue buildings that are over on the other side, that's a different parcel, even though that the buildings are painted the same. So the big building there on the left, the big white one in the middle, that's with this parcel, but we're not looking to remove that building. It was just the attachment to the other. And then that shows the graffiti. There's more graffiti there. That's, again, the rear of the structure. And that's all the photos. So that's what we're looking forward to remove. And then that would be also, let me see if I can get a picture of the Jesse Street here. It would be all the pavement and the asphalt and the concrete also removing in that area with removing the structure. So it won't turn into a parking lot or anything like that once we do remove the structure.
Very good. Any questions for Mr. Cecil?
I have one. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the property and, and the blight that it's causing in that area.
Mm-hmm.
with the, that building definitely needs to be torn down, cleaned up by whoever. Now, Mr. Jaggard, I have a question. When if the city is required to take that down, do the removal and the disposal, the cost of the removal, which is going to be substantial, will say like on this lawsuit, would the owner, whoever the owner is, be responsible for it?
Yes, all the costs removed become a lien on the property which runs with the land. And so
Okay.
if they were to transfer title, that would stay with the land. If they were to try to get financing, the mortgage company would probably require that those liens be paid off.
I have some other questions, and I'm going to leave them for the building official. Thank you.
And I do believe that there is approximately $33,000 of other liens that are on the property also.
Are those code liens or what sort of liens?
Yes, code liens.
So those code liens would be based on fines, just informing the board. They'd be based on fines from the code board, which I'm sure you're familiar with that process as well. All right, Mr. Urquhart?
Glenn Urquhart, Chief Building Official, City of Daytona Beach.
Mr. Urquhart, when was the last time you were at this site?
I was out there a couple months ago. Mr. John Cecil regularly checks on all the properties. So I've been out there several times since the beginning. I was on the initial posting as well.
All right, and as the building official, did you issue the order of condemnation and demolition?
Yes, sir.
And when you were out there last time, was the building posted?
Yes, sir.
All right. In your opinion, then, is the building unsafe or dangerous?
Yes.
And why would you say so?
At this point, especially with all the debris that's scattered about the whole property, this is in a college district, so as far as the amount of foot traffic that's by there, when we do we're right in the middle of hurricane season right now, so this property is a perfect example of wind-borne debris. I mean, you just have it. If we had a real good storm come through there, that'd be blowing that stuff all over the place. It's also, as far as the safety hazards, just somebody walking through there. You got some vagrants, ex-felons that are staying in there. They pull somebody in. It's just prime time for criminal activity.
All right. Is there any sort of utilities provided to the site? Any electricity? Any water?
No, not at this point.
All right. Would it be reasonable for the owner to attempt to fix the building?
The front, the portion that we're asking to tear down, it would be no. Now,
Why is that?
it's just too far gone, and then you have the structural members that are in place are completely rusted out. I wouldn't be in agreement on any of that being rehabilitated. They'd have to go all new on that. They could get a structural report for what members that they might think, but I really wouldn't see anybody saying yes on any of those members.
All right, very good. Any questions from the board?
Go ahead, Vern.
I'm totally in agreement with taking that portion down, clean it up, taking the sidewalk up, or all of the concrete and everything all the way back to the road. Total agreement with that. Now with the main building, I question, have you ever been inside of the main building?
No, and our plans as far as on the main building, because it's caught up in litigation, is to go ahead and go after that as well. Because when I look at the roof on the main building, I see, as far as all the buildup, I don't think it's draining. I see vegetative growth on top of that, as well as far as on the windows, you can see some of the mold buildup and everything. Once we get to that step, I'd require to be able to get inside to see the actual condition of inside, and then go ahead and reevaluate at that point. But this is more of an agreement. At this point, they agreed to let us take down the other part of the structure. We'll get all that wind-borne debris, possible components out of the way and get it cleaned up to where it at least looks a little presentable. Then once they finish up their court case in January, then we go ahead and move on at that point to the other portion of the building. And if they had a plan to go ahead and rehabilitate, once again, we just request to be able to be given permission to go inside and see what they have.
Because the problem with the other building, I was down there recently looking at some property and standing on the sidewalk, looking in the front window. The ceiling's dropping, it's just loaded with junk. and everything, and I don't think that building's rehabable to start off with. And with the city and everything in, you know, in that area, there's a real push on cleaning up all of that area. And it's really an eyesore, and even the piece of property beside it, as you've seen on your aerials, leaves a lot to be desired. And I think that probably code enforcement should, I'm sure they're entitled, you know, they're there. But on the frontage, you know, with all the vegetation and everything growing up, that whole block or those two buildings there need to be addressed. And that building is uninhabitable. The storefront on it would have to be replaced. So that's one whole wall, the roof, this, you know, all of the ceiling, the interior. And I don't really see, you know, a need to keep that up. If you're going to go in there and do the demolition on the one section, I would be in favor of doing the whole thing at one time.
Yeah, I'd love to take the whole property down at this point, but because it is tied up as far as in the court system, with them being in agreement to at least let us get all that debris cleared up and everything in the warehouse section of it, that would be a win, just to go ahead and for the city as far as cleaning up that area. Recently, we've taken down several buildings on the backside on Jesse. And for people that haven't been out there, if you're not familiar with it, this is directly right behind Buck's Gun Rack. I mean, it's that close to ISB. And, you know, in the attempt to clean up these areas of dilapidated buildings, I mean, this is a primary example. So, yes, we would definitely be going after that front structure, but to be able to be in the deal right now, just to go ahead and at least get that back section down.
Can you do anything, so if you leave the building up, can you do anything to enhance the appearance of the front of the building, you know, trimming the trees and any way to clean up on the sides of it and everything?
Those are going to be more code enforcement issues in terms of the trash and debris and the overgrowth. And so that's really not the purview of this board. The building official here is tasked with the concept of removing dangerous structures. And
well,
so,
and I totally agree with you, Mr. Jaggard. What I was referring to is going down that one side on the south side of the building.
What we could do is anything that's within our jurisdiction as far as the right-of-way with Public Works, I can coordinate with our employees to go ahead at least trim up the oak trees and trim up some other stuff as far as to make it a little bit better looking, and we could coordinate that effort.
Well, we need to clear a path. Again, we probably shouldn't go beyond your authority in terms of clearing trash and debris or, you know.
Understood.
The only thing in front of us today is the demolition.
Right.
Nothing else.
Now, code can definitely follow
Right.
up on that, you know, and that's something we can refer that matter to code for follow-up. And there's a separate set of ordinances which allow us to do that sort of cleanup and lien the property. It's just not done by the building official. It's done through code, through another enforcement mechanism.
What we could do, if you want to separate it and make a motion on the appeal, and then recommend, ask them to go ahead and refer that to code. But we can't, it's not something we can deal with here.
I understand, but if the building department could say something to code enforcement, like we was talking earlier, about some of the changes in the law,
Yeah, we
would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we coordinate with code enforcement. We meet with them once a month.
You need something from us to do that, or you could do that without us?
What's that?
You need something from this board to ask you to do that, or you can do it anyway?
No, that's something we do anyways, to where anything in our condemnation effort, we let them know that any condemnation demolition effort that we have in place, they're aware of every single location that we have on our database. And then plus we meet with them in addition to that as far as going over any concern cases they have. That way it's departments working hand in hand with each other.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I also want to say that they have the authority to come back and readdress this main structure as well. They did not have the opportunity to enter the building. Obviously, they need a warrant to do that or consent from the owner. So we're hoping to work with the new owners, assuming they're successful in their lawsuit, and refurbish that building, through their cooperation. But if that doesn't occur, I'm sure the building official will revisit that building and determine whether or not it's structurally unsafe or a danger, and we'll be right back before at the next meeting. So.
Yeah, because we're going to be leaving the order on. This is just in agreement to take down the back
Okay.
section, so our order will
Just
stay in
actually
place.
answered my question, Bob, is, I was just wondering if there'd be like a double jeopardy
No.
component, but if that's not the case,
It'll
then
be a whole new,
No.
a re-examination of
Right.
the building, because it's obviously deteriorating over time. And they'll make a new finding and repost it, and soon we start all over. We must start all over with the new owner if that occurs. If not, I would suggest we go ahead and repost it based on new findings anyway.
right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I agree with the, doing it that way. We need a motion.
I'll make the motion on the demolition on the side building.
We have a motion and a second. You want to do a roll call, or just, I think there's only three of us. We can just do
Maybe,
a
yeah.
voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Carries.
Madam Secretary, do you have the motion? You have the motion?
Yes, Mr.
Okay, good.
Culver seconded.
Okay. HP. BP 2021-00 through 838, 1000 North Atlantic Avenue, appeal of notice of condemnation and demolition order.
So the property owners are here and represented, and they would like to speak to you. There has been some agreement, if you will, subject to your approval, as to how to move forward. So I'd like to start with Mr. Urquhart, I think, at this point, and have you go through the review of the site, or would you prefer Mr. Cecil do that?
Cecil he had taken the recent pictures of it.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and have Mr. Cecil come up and just familiarize you with the site, and then we'll have the property owner's representative, Ms. Husseini, come up and tell you about what they're willing to do. Okay. John?
All right, John Cecil, Demolition Rehabilitation Inspector. We're going to go through 2018, 2020, 2021 photos, which is the most current.
You could probably skip forward to the 21 to save
Okay.
a little time, since
We can actually do that.
There shouldn't be too much controversy here. And when you get there, just describe to us the condition of the property.
Okay.
When was the last time you were out there?
This morning.
Right, and do these photos reflect essentially the condition that you saw this morning?
Yes, they will.
And when were they taken?
I believe- I believe it was right around July 9th, I believe is when it was.
All right.
Same time that I took the 112s.
And has there been any significant work to the building in the last 2 years?
There has been some work done. There has been where they've opened it up. They've taken it out to where we can actually see where all the vagrants couldn't be hiding in there and living in the structure. There still are vagrants that do come and go from that structure. This morning I did see a security guard up there. I didn't see any vagrants there today, but I have last week. There was evidence of it. There was bicycles, there was tarps, there was bedding, there was everything there that last week.
All right, so is the property secured? Or how is the property secured?
Oh, the property is secured with a chain link fence on the west, I'm going to say southeast side. On the north side, there's a little bit of a wall, but you can actually step right down into it. It's not secured on the north side. You can just walk right down in. In a photo, you'll see where the tiki hut is. There, you can just do a step down off of the vacant lot and walk right into the property.
Okay, great. Well, not good, but thank you for explaining that.
No, I understand.
If you could then describe the property.
Okay. As you can see, this photo is just showing a street view, and it's showing that you can see all the way through on all 4 floors, all the way through. The plywood has been removed and it's been opened up. This is just showing the chain link fence, showing that it is secured on the west side, and you can still see daylight through the first floor there. Another photo of that. This is a photo of the posting showing that it is unsecured, but there is fence around it on those certain sides. That's showing a photo from the inside. I wasn't inside. You can actually take it through the doorway of the building. It's just showing that there has been people in there. There's one going in from the elevator shot. That's pretty much what it shows that the structure looks like as of now too.
Now, we see some degradation of the columns there. Could you explain what the concern would be?
You have debris right now where they did the demolition to open up the structure. They are going through and they're showing just the concrete debris and everything that's fallen down from there. Let me see if I can get a better photo there. That's just showing that it's open. There's another one. It's just showing that it's opened up, and that's on those are on the south side of the building. Those are running east and west. So that's running right along the beach approach on that side. That's showing the debris that's laying out in the parking lot, which is old air conditioning units and appliances. It's still showing. There. Okay, right there is where I was talking about the tiki hut, and over there to the left, there's a little wall, but that sand is right at the top of that wall, and all you do is just step right down in. That's the only place it's not secured on the property. The pool has since been drained. We got an order on that. We went in and punched holes in the pool and did drain the pool. That, life safety issue there. Because kids or anybody could have walked right up there on that one part and stepped right down and go to the pool. It's just showing that it's open. No power. That's the pump house. The photo's a little messed up there. That was the pump house that's out by the pool. There was concerns of vagrants being in there, but we've never really seen any. We've seen some evidence of them being there, but never have seen any in it. Another photo of the pool. And these pool photos were in 5/17/21. There's an aerial still with the pool. They secured around the pool when we started taking measures on the pool. Here's part of it's drained. As you can see over in the left-hand corner, they did punch 2 different holes in it. So it did drain out, the pool did drain. Just a little bit of water in there from the rain. There we go. So everything is pretty much the same as it was in 2000. I'm going to say 1920, 2018, a little bit more, where the other demolition team went in there and did a little bit of demolition on the structure.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Cecil?
Not at this time.
Mr. Urquhart, could you step up, please? In your name and position.
Glenn Urquhart, Chief Building Official, City of Daytona Beach.
Mr. Urquhart, what is it about the condition of the building as has been shown that renders it unsafe or dangerous?
As this point right now, it's still unsafe, dangerous as far as its attractive nuisance for bringing in vagrants. We've witnessed them there pretty much every time we go out there. They set up living quarters throughout. They had like a kind of a living room set up on the north side of the property. And as far as, they did cooperate with us on the emergency measure, taking care of the pool, and put the perimeter fencing around that, put the holes in it, so that way the water's out of it. So at the point where we're at now, the actual structure itself, they've had a report come in on it as far as that it's structurally safe. So you got your columns, you got your slabs on each floor. All of that's in good shape. Pretty much right now what we're dealing with is we have a skeleton of a property that nothing's being done with. So we have a cessation of normal construction over the last 2 years. Mr. Peterson, which had come in on it, he did do what we had asked as far as taking off the plywood off the back sections where the sliding glass doors were, and also to take the front rusted out, rotted doors on each of the rooms. That way, that would help out and aid the police department of, they could see actually what activity was going on inside. But they still get there, they still step down and get in there, so we still have vagrants occupying the property, and so that's kind of the point where we're at now.
All right, you said you reviewed a structural engineering report,
Yes, that was from Mr. Charles Adams.
and that's the owner's engineer?
Yes.
All right, and were you in agreement with the findings of the report?
Yeah, on the report on that is, as far as what's in place, GC Contractors that did some concrete restoration on this originally, and then they had pulled out off the property. Then Mr. Adams, they did a structural analysis of what they have there in place. And as far as that in conjunction with GC Contractors of what they have left at the skeleton, I'm in agreement with that.
Okay, very good. All right, any questions, Mr. Urquhart?
What is Mr. Adams? Is he an engineer?
Excuse me?
Mr. Adams an engineer, or is he a contractor? What is he?
He's a PE, professional engineer.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
You know, in full disclosure, for a number of years, I was on the code enforcement board. Our attorney can attest to that, and it's always been a nuisance for years. Underneath over on the beach side, one of the big requirements, people were staying under the concrete where it was eroded and everything. I know that the city at one time had fenced that area off. It appears on the picture that there's more openings underneath that. And
They originally, like in the pool area where the pool separated out, GC Contractors had come in. They sealed all those cracks. Now we're not talking like a couple minor cracks. These are separation cracks of 18 inches to 24 inches. They were actually staying up underneath them with their blankets and everything all along in the crevices on the property. So since then, yeah, those cracks right there, or those separations, those have all been filled in with concrete and restored. That was GC Contractors that did done that work probably about 2 years ago.
have you walked the building since it was certified by the engineer of record?
Yeah, I was there a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's one of the buildings that we keep on checking on.
You know, as far as secure, you know, I was down there over the weekend. Actually, I looked at another piece of property right across the street from it. The security on the north side, that was definitely needs some.
The lack of it, yes. Yes, that's how we just step right into it, so.
Now, on the columns and the pictures, needless to say, I've never been in the area or been close to it. Since all the attention that we're getting down in South Florida, I noticed a little spalling on the columns. And has that ever been addressed by the owners, you know, or looked at?
They had spalling out on the balconies, spalling out as far as up on the roof structure itself, and they had done those repairs on it to the point where they're at now. That's kind of why we're at this point, because I noted it as cessation of normal construction within 2 years' time, and I don't count the removal of the plywood or the doors as part of the normal construction. Normal construction is actually making progress on the structure itself. So, and that's why we're to the point of the reposting and everything where we're at now.
Because, you know, opening it up to the, you know, taking down the doors so you can see through it and everything, which is one of the first steps, that makes it more subject to salt, intrusion and erosion on it. And so that would be something to put into consideration. And I'm going to hold any other questions till I hear from the owners. Thank you.
Yeah, and if we got to the point where construction actually resumed on this, a report would have to be established as to that actual day. And that would be from bottom to top before we would actually move forward. So we're kind of at the sticking point right now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you have any questions of the inspectors at this point before you speak? Okay. Well, then please come up.
I'm just a little bit shorter than I think some of the other people here. Sorry about that. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Board. My name is Nika Hosseini, for the record, with the law firm of Cobb Cole, 231 North Woodland Boulevard in DeLand. I just want to introduce who I have here with me. Mr. Chuck Adams is a structural engineer who drafted...
I could have asked you that. I asked if you were an engineer or not. I could ask you personally. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, he is here. He's our expert. I also have with us Mr. Jim Peterson, who's a prospective purchaser of the property as well. And Mr. Adams and Mr. Peterson have been on the property a lot, so they can kind of attest to what's going on there and what the current condition is. I just want to make a couple quick points. One, I just really want to thank staff. You guys, Kim and the whole team has been really awesome in working with us. I got involved just a couple of months ago, and I work with a lot of jurisdictions in the county and various jurisdictions, and you guys have been really great. So I just really appreciate that. It's helpful when you get some help. We have done a couple of things with the property since May and June. One, we had an emergency order on the pool, and when we received that, we did contract with a demo company to go to the pool and poke holes in it, because as you all know, that was a life safety issue. And we also had AAA fence come in and secure the perimeter of the pool. So we took care of that. We also cleaned the hotel grounds. Nothing actually inside of the hotel, inside of the structure. However, we did have a cleaning crew go out there and just kind of clean the grounds a little bit, take out some of the debris that was just on the grounds from potential vagrants or anybody else who may have been out there. Recently, I think it's in your binders, as of Saturday, we hired a security team, a 24/7 security team to be out there. I was speaking with Kim, and I had heard from the city, and I had heard that, I was not really aware of the level of vagrancy that may be on the property. So we made sure to, that day, actually sign a contract with the security company to get the security company out there and start working 24/7. So our hope is that with that company out there and with those security guards out there, we do kind of are able to secure the property to a better degree. So of course, someone isn't going to the side and stepping down. And our goal is to obviously rehabilitate this property. We want it to be safe. We don't want it to be a skeleton of a structure. I live here too. I pass by it. I see it. Our goal is to rehabilitate it, and that's why we did want to do a structural analysis on it, to kind of gauge where we're at. And then our goal for the property owners is to sell the property and to move forward with rehabilitation. So I spoke with the city, and we would respectfully request a continuance until the August 17th hearing, because between now and that date, the players might change, the owners may change, and we need just at least that month to be able to take some steps to see if there's going to be a change of ownership and what will happen. But like I said, our overall goal is to rehabilitate the property. Mr. Peterson's goal as a prospective purchaser is to rehabilitate the property and, have it look in conformity with the rest of Beachside. So we have Mr. Adams here, Mr. Peterson. If you have any questions for me, we're happy to answer them. Thanks.
I just briefly want to say that I've been involved with the job for several years. We replaced all the balconies, all the walkways. We went as far as 1.5 or 2 feet inside the units. So concrete-wise, that building is in good shape. I looked at it early in June. The columns are good. There's some minor repairs that still need to be done, but we're nowhere near like that building in South Florida. This building, concrete-wise, is in good shape. I am recommending that the current owner put some shores around the steel columns that are in the office building, that round building that you had pictures of. Those steel columns are pretty rusted out, and we need to put some temporary shoring in there just as a safety precaution. I don't think it's coming down anytime soon, but I think the benefit is well worth the small cost of putting some shores in there. And there's a couple of beams in the northeast side under the roof that need some repair. Nothing urgent, but it's something that should be done as soon as the new owner takes over. And we were under contract with the prospective new owner to continue with that work, and I'm assuming that's going to happen.
What is the status of the sale? Has it been sold, or is it in the process of being sold? The contract for purchase and sale, what is its status?
It's currently under contract. It's in process of being sold. I know there's been some conversations with the owner and the prospective purchaser, so it's a work in process. I know that the prospective purchaser has a lender. Everything is kind of moving forward. There's been some positive movement, and the goal is within the next, ideally, I'm gonna knock on wood, for the closing to move through in the next few weeks.
But prior to our August meeting,
Correct.
is it going to remain as a hotel or motel, or is it looking at condos? What are they looking at? Know what they're looking to do with the property?
I'm not sure. The prospective purchaser is here if he wants to note that, but I'm not sure if they're just going to rehabilitate it or change it or.
I mean, we're not holding him to it. I just want you
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Within the next month, would the owner, now you represent the owner or the prospective buyer?
The owner, property owners.
Owner. Would they be willing to secure that fence line across the one side that's missing?
Yes.
And also do the temporary shoring that was mentioned for the round building
Yes.
before the next meeting?
Yes.
You said the sale is going to be completed in 3 weeks?
So that's the current timeline. I'm sure Mr. Peterson can speak more to that, but that's what we currently have on the table.
Yeah, okay. Any questions, Vern?
Do we know the total amount of fines from the code board and different agencies on that?
As of Friday, there are no outstanding liens. There were some liens last year. I believe their lender was notified, and all liens were satisfied relating to the code enforcement matters.
Thank you.
So you're saying, what you're asking us is to continue the case for 1 month, not to make a decision today whether or not to go to, and hold the appeal up for another month, and then you'll know for sure what you're going to do with the property.
Correct.
What's the city's position on that?
I would, staff has alerted me that they're in agreement with that. I would add that the order should reflect that the property should be completely secured on all sides
Sure.
with fencing, and that the shoring, as referenced, be provided during the interim between the
Okay.
next meeting.
Okay.
I'll move to continue the order to the following next meeting with the secure fencing and shoring in place.
You have a
I'll second that.
All right. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
Thank you, board. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Yep, thank you
Thanks,
for
guys.
coming. All right. We have a couple of review cases. Where are they? Let's see, it's on the,
Kim, do we have any case to review?
I
No.
thought we
No.
did. Oh. No, if there's no further business,
No, let's find out. Any new business at all?
we have any,
Sorry?
Any new business at all?
No new business?
no?
So we're going to come back in August because of this case?
Yes,
Okay.
August 17th.
All right, so I guess
We just need to get a new member. That it's a member.
Yes,
Okay.
still looking.
All
We
right,
just need a member, Paul. We just need one more member, Paul, because we're down one member.
we're down one
We're
minute.
down one member, so we need a member.
I know, it'd be nice to find somebody.
I know, it's not easy.
I know it. No one likes to work for free.
I know, you get paid real good.
I guess we're adjourned at 9:49.